Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to World This Morning. I'm your host Hajra Satti and joining me is my wonderful co-host Fahim Bangesh. Assalamu alaikum Fahim, how are you doing?
Walaikum assalam, Hajra. It seems so weird that you've been saying Ramzan Mubarak, you've been saying Eid Mubarak today, you did not say even one of them.
Yes, because I think we have alhamdulillah celebrated all of those events. But having said so Fahim, I know
celebrations should be celebrated. I think we should have prolonged celebrations because we live in a country where there's so many sad news. Throughout the year we keep on hearing sad news. So I think we should avail the opportunity and prolong our celebrations. But of course, having said that, we should never forget our brethren who were affected very badly by the earthquakes and the floods. Definitely, we know there is a dearth of resources. We know that people have been suffering a lot. So yeah, I think not only should we celebrate, but along with that, we should remember each and every person who was affected.
That's very true, and Fahim, thank you so much for putting it out brilliantly, but I have a divergent point of view on that because I do believe that whenever a news is made, there is a tint of sensationalism in it, there is a tint of harm in it, and that is why it becomes a news, because my professor very valiantly put it out that whenever you are reporting a story, you always putting the interest of someone at stake when you are reporting the news out there. So yes, and that is why in general you will see that there's a decline in consuming the news, especially it was mentioned by the Reuters digital report. But having said so, Fahim, I know you and we are both fans of the Harry Potter. We are big fans of Harry Potter. And the news has been around the corner that Harry Potter is being remade into the series on every book. And we are really excited about that news because we really want to relive that nostalgia of early 21st century.
And you know, Hajra, I remember when the movies were launched, the only complaint that all of the people who were fans of Harry Potter had, that so many characters were missed out, so many events were missed out, and now that they're planning to make a whole series of it according to the books, I think it's going to be very pleasing for all the people who've actually read Harry Potter.
That's very true, and I think we haven't seen the character of the Peeves throughout the movies.
Yes.
And it was one of the wonderful characters because his name was, and he was a favorite of that Brothers of the Ron, I forgot getting their name, the twin brothers, because they were also very naughty and they were constantly doing some mischievous. Fred and George. They were constantly doing some mischievous things, and Peeve was a big fan of them. And how he saluted them, especially in the 5th part of the book when they set up against the Dolores Umbridge in the Hogwarts, and then he presented them a magnanimous salute out there, and certainly we would like to see that scene reenacted in the
I'm really hoping that the characters are according to what they're portrayed like in the books, because obviously the characters, they're sort of, embedded in our minds because the films have already been made. That's one negative thing that I can find, especially where the series is concerned, but still quite excited about it. But having said so, I must introduce our guest because obviously we're celebrating and celebrations should never end. Our first guest today is, of course, we have been having him in the month of Ramzan as well. We have Basit Saab with us. Basit Saab, you're a religious scholar, you're a student of Quranic science, you're a historian. Welcome and Eid Mubarak, belated Eid Mubarak.
Thank you very much. Eid Mubarak to you as well.
Thank you.
Right.
And our second guest today is Sabahuddin Saab. He's an analyst, he's an author, he's a writer. And it's so wonderful having knowledgeable and intellectual people in our studios today. So welcome to PTV World and good morning.
Good morning and Eid Mubarak to you, Fahim.
Thank you.
To you, Hajra.
Right, so I think we would like to kickstart our segment by having some very interesting discussion lined up. But before we started our program, we were having some chit-chat on the show, and Basit Saab revealed to us some very amazing and interesting facts, especially regarding the attire of that gowns and how it was inculcated in the universities, and that was a Muslim tradition, and it is a high time that we reclaim our past, traditions, because obviously we have a very rich culture, and it's a pity that we do not go for it and we do not reclaim that back, because it is so rich and magnanimous.
Not even reclaiming, we don't even know it.
Exactly.
But it's actually ours.
Exactly, that's very true, because it has been whitewashed in such a manner that we feel the entire, what do you call it, the character building, the entire flourishing traditions are coming from the West, but it's not the case. They have been inspired by the Muslim Islamic civilization as a whole. So now we would like to talk about one of the topic, I think, which is very pertinent not just to our society but to the entire globe in general, which is the lack of tolerance and impatience in the world. So I would like to throw this question to both of our guests, because we know that there's a lot of fragmentation, that there is a lot of polarization in our society, in the world in general, and I feel one of the main contributors is the social media, because it has created the echo chambers where people do not come out from that, and it is said in the English that bird of feathers flock together, right? So right-minded people link together and they do not want to listen to another opinion which is against their views. So how can we make sure that we have a more tolerance in the society in general, and what does Islam has to teach us about this entire discourse on the tolerance, on the patience? Yes, Basit Saab.
In fact, this is a challenge for world today, and as we know that Islam has remedy to every challenge, because this religion is not time bound. So Islam tells us that humans are ahsan taqweem. And you know that we all know that in Quran there is a method of emphasizing things. So one method is that in Surah Teen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَطُورِ سِينِينَ وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. So there are 3-4 references that different places, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We made human being at a superlative degree, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, beautiful. So this is not just in appearance. In thinking, a human must be superior to all other creatures.
Right.
And in the same surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning this thing, that ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. But the same ahsan taqweem, when he degrading himself morally or ethically, then he is down of the down. So this is the thing that now every human has to think, that whether he is in his behavior or saying something, it is level of the ahsan taqweem or summa radadnahu asfala safilin. So in that way, Prophet peace be upon him once said that difference of opinion is a barakah, is blessing in my ummah.
Yes.
So if something is blessing, there must be some protocol of having difference of opinion. That might be intellectual, that might be political, that might be a sort of something ethical and ethnic, but there must be tolerance. If you have difference of opinion, human beings are different. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us so different to each other that our fingerprints are not matching.
That's true.
So
That's true.
But this is beauty. This is not to argue. This is not to attack one another, that why your fingerprints are different. Because Allah has made this thing. And you see, in one house, sister and brothers, even parents, they have different of opinion, difference of opinion. But there must be something which must tell us that some humans are interacting with each other. Nowadays, as Hajra was mentioning, social media and social media brigades, and one thing is that there must be some bottom line in every field of life, even that is proper media or social media. And whatever a person is saying or doing, he or she is in fact reflecting upbringing styles.
So like Hajra often mentions social media, as she quotes this as mediocrity. And I totally agree with that, because when it comes to tolerance, when it comes to, for example, people are having religious debates on the people don't have knowledge, mediocre knowledge, and they will debate according to their knowledge, and without having proper references, they'll just impose and project their ideas, and obviously if the other person who's more knowledgeable would not agree with them, definitely there's going to be a clash, and that clash often results in bad language, character assassination, and the end is nowhere. It's a never-ending thing.
Mudslinging, everything is going on. In fact, thing is that we are not groomed, particularly our youth is not groomed how to use media, one thing, and what are the proper authentic sources of any information. This is a dilemma. This is a great challenge. We in universities try to tell our students, particularly those who are doing research, that which site you can consult and which you can't. So this thing is that
that's very important. There are many sites.
Yes. I just say that if somebody is searching some Quranic verse, a translation of that, but he is not having this understanding that which translation is authentic, so he might be misguided. So the thing is that one thing more, the role of leaders in every walk of life is very pertinent in shaping the mindset, the behavior of the followers.
That's true.
So this is quite normal that if those who are prominent in any field, what sort of language they're using.
True.
That reflects in Arabic. This is saying that an-nasu ala dini mulukihim. People follow their elite. So what elite is doing in every walk of life, I'm not just saying politically or socially, or in every walk of life.
True.
If they are reasonable, the masses at large would be reasonable.
Right.
So we have seen this thing that everything is deteriorating. The standard of talking, even you see in the parliament houses of the whole globe, what sort of people are using the language. So people are idolizing that and then following the same thing. So the thing is that everyone in the society has to reanalyze his or her own self, that whether his saying, his style of argumentation, these all are up to the mark or not.
Right.
If this realization is not there, so things are going to be more
and
worse.
that's very true, but it's on the other hand a very difficult thing to achieve, because obviously social media promotes instead of self introspection, it promotes that whatever you want to do you can do. So Sabauddin Saab, do you agree with this assertion that social media promotes a lot of emotionalism rather than the rational critical debates or more logical debates, and obviously our preferences are set according to our algorithm, which is constantly monitoring what we are watching, and it presents us the content which we would like to see, not which is a truth actually. Do you agree with this assertion?
I think I partially agree with that. First of all, we have to understand the terms we are using. I'm against a few terms that we commonly use. For example, tolerance. In English, tolerance means that you have to undergo an unpleasant feeling of bearing something, of tolerating something.
Okay.
So instead of using word tolerance or to tolerate something that you do not like, I do not want to even mention the feeling of not liking something. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created all of us on a single pattern and the best possible manner.
That's true.
So each and every one of us, with all individual flaws, with individual lackings, we are diverse in nature. So instead of saying to tolerate each other, I would like to say that living in a diverse society and enjoying the pluralism, in a pluralistic society, and promoting one thing, that is harmony. Unfortunately, we have been taught to defend ourselves, to stand for what we believe in. We have been educated from our childhood to know what is right and understanding that what we know is right.
Correct.
So we have not been told that we can be corrected. We have not been told the mannerisms of disagreement, how to enter into an intellectual discourse, how to agree to a superior logic. We have never been told. We have always been told that what we believe is the truth and that is the ultimate truth.
Actually, I would agree with you, because I was having a discussion one day with one of the scholars, and he mentioned three words that in life you have to learn, unlearn and relearn.
Yes.
Because there are many things which you've been taught and which are not really up to the mark. Perhaps you need to unlearn them and relearn according to new ideas, new ideologies,
Exactly.
new narratives.
And I think the most challenging thing is unlearning.
Yes.
Learning is easy, but unlearning something, undoing something,
Yes.
and then correcting your own path, I think that is the most challenging thing. And
Right.
you cannot unlearn with a very rigid and stiff mind.
But
That's
Sabahuddin Saab, I would like to build up the conversation, and I would like to pick up something that you said about the pluralism. So what is your ideal conception of the pluralism? Because if you see historically, there will always remain some sort of asymmetry between the dominant group or the dominant ideology versus the minority group or the minority ideology. So how do you envision pluralism?
First and foremost is what majority believes, it is not necessary to be true.
Okay.
We have been believing in something over the past, and the human evolution has proved it. Our learnings have proved it. From the concepts that the earth is stationary and everything revolves around the earth, now we have realized, no, the earth is a very small part of this entire system. And people have been persecuted and executed for believing the things that we now understand are truth.
That's
So the majority belief is not necessary
Right.
to be correct or
Right.
truth. When we talk about the pluralism in a society, it means understanding each other, understanding the logic behind what the other is presenting himself, how people are talking about, and absorbing
Right.
whatsoever we can absorb.
Right.
And of course, we have all the right to stand firm on what we believe, but
Right.
we do not have any right to push somebody off his track and force him to
Right.
come to agreement with us, because forcing somebody into agreement creates friction in a society. And unfortunately, we have seen this. We stand divided
Right.
in the politics, on the society level, in our religious practices and beliefs. Everywhere you will see us, we stand divided. So this division has to be somehow created, turned into harmony. Harmony in a way that everyone understands the other person, and they are accommodating each other and not tolerating with the feeling of uneasiness, but understanding that, let's say, that tolerating it with a very pleasant feeling of understanding.
But
Right.
then also something that comes to mind is, if we don't talk about just Pakistan, we talk about the entire globe, the entire world. Don't you think a pluralistic society is something very utopic? Because it's just levels of pluralism in different societies, but it's some friction is always there.
That's true.
One part of the society is always suffering in every group, be it the developed world or the underdeveloped.
You are right, and I agree 100% agree to this, because this is not a problem unique to one country, one small society, segment of society. This is the problem of humanity. So humanity has to come to agreement. Humanity has to understand its own flaws and its own, loopholes in the structure of the society that we have created and promoted. I agree to what you are saying.
Right. So, Basit Saab, it is mentioned in Quran, and Allah does not take a very great stock of human beings in general. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, often mentions in the Quran that human or man is arrogant, he is ignorant, yet he claims that he knows everything, right? And if you take out this verse or this view from the history, you will find that it's also validated, because look at what happened with the Aristotle, with the Plato, with the Galileo. They were all executed on the charges of heresy, and they were great minds who contributed a lot to the human knowledge. But then there are other school of thought scholars who says that humans are ashraful makhluqat. They are the crown jewel of the creation, and they have this tendency to transcend from the humanly state to more higher state, to more higher form of the love, I would say. So what do you believe in general?
See, human beings are not robots. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them this sense to do whatever they prefer to do. And Quran tells us that there are different states of minds and state of character of human beings. And what Hajra, you were mentioning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned this thing, that why you are so arrogant?
Yes.
What is your reality?
Yes.
In Surah Dahar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you were not even shay'an mazkura. You were not even mentionable.
True.
And then sometime Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you cannot break the earth. How you are walking up on that. And you cannot hire yourself to skies.
Right.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, and so, and one thing more, what is in Quran, humans are called insan.
Yes.
So insan is min nisyan. Yes. So insan is a person who can what we could say is not having that sharp memory.
That's true.
So
Forgets,
this yes, mistakes, and sometimes he know the things are like this, but he is doing something like that. So it is insan. But the major thing Quran is telling us, two characters, one of Iblis and second of Adam.
Yes.
And Quran uses two terminologies, Hizb Shaitan and Hizbullah. So if we just analyze two characters, see Shaitan also disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
And Adam also done a mistake.
Yes.
Yes.
So after doing that, that characterizes the personalities. What Adam said, رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِن لَمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. He accepted that it was not good what I have done.
Repented. Yes.
But Iblis, Shaitan, what he said, I am superior. So superiority is.
He was a racist. Yes.
Yes, he said that I am from the fire and he is from the mud.
Yes.
So I am superior.
Yes.
So these two groups are existing since the creation, and it would be going side by side. And otherwise, one thing more, what is the status of human beings through their mentalities, their doings? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned three types of humans.
Right.
One is nafs mutmainna, the most superior one, character wise. And second is nafs lawama. And the third, the lowest one, is ammara. So ammara is, then there is a lot of explanation. If we have time, we can explain more. But in what we could say summarized way, one can say that Prophet peace upon him said that if somebody is doing wrong thing, sin, so there is a dot on his heart, black dot. If he do tawbah, repentance, then that is erased. But if he or she is not doing that, so that black dot is magnifying.
Yes.
So when that increase, then the situation comes khatamallahu ala qulubihim wa ala sam'ihim wa ala absarihim ghishawa, like a stamp.
Right.
Now they are not even listening or understanding or something like that. So a lot of people we can see around the globe in that situation.
Yes.
The second status is that that is very precious, that if someone is doing wrong, his conscience is awakening him, oh, what you have done already, and he has this guilt. That's why he could improve. And the most superior one is that a person who is above his notions, his motions, and he is merging his will to Allah's will. Fana fillah, that is nafs mutmainna, and that is the ideal one.
That's very true. Thank you so much for brilliantly putting it out. Now, Sabauddin Sahab, I mean, we want to carry forward a conversation. So, in 21st century, you will see that this is the era where we do not, I mean, engage ourselves in a lot of self-introspection. And Islam focus a lot on the self-restraint, on abstentions from a lot of things. But this era's focuses on a lot of liberties and freedoms, and not enough focus is made on the responsibilities, right? So do you believe that the way things are going or moving ahead with, especially with the modernity or Western Enlightenment ideals, what sort of future do you envision, and what needs to be done in order to tackle the problems that we are facing today?
If I start from how we tackle it
Right.
first, so there has to be balance
Yes.
This entire cosmos has balance.
Yes, that's true.
You know, if something is out of balance, then it is destruction.
That's true.
So everything has to be in balance. The spiritual life has to be attended. One, that is material, but then the spiritual, we have to strike balance between the spiritual
Soul and
conduct
body,
as
yes.
well as the material
Yes.
conduct. Without this, I think the society, entire humanity is going to collapse. The second thing going forward, how and what mechanism should be placed that creates this balance. The foremost and the ideal thing is religion, because it puts do's and don'ts on you, it
That's true.
puts checks on you,
That's
it
true.
defines the limit of what is your freedom and what is not, what is influencing the entire society, and it helps you to, while realizing your potential, to abstain from that affects the entire humanity and society at large. So we have to attend to the spiritual aspect. Now, what we
Right.
have been doing this entire month of Ramadan is we have been refraining and abstaining from even that is permissible.
Yes.
Right. That's
So it is like a sort of a training.
That's
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants the humanity to train and to understand that how we have to put the priority, and for us the foremost priority, as we practiced over the last 1 month, is putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His desires, His commands as priority one, and then following what comes next. So we have to understand that how we prioritize. Now this applies to entire humanity in whatsoever religion they believe. They have to believe in a code of do's and don'ts, and this is in our very construct.
right.
Even those who do not believe in the Creator,
Right.
the atheists, they also believe in something. They
Right.
also
Some
believe that
discipline has
something
to be
is
there.
beneficial, something is harmful. So we need that code of do's and don't and checks on this entire humanity. So this society thrives.
Right.
So this society functions as a stable society.
That's
Otherwise, I think this entire system is going to collapse. And what we see is that we are not, in the first step, we are not able to identify my freedom, my right of expression with
Exactly.
that's something that hurts my fellows.
That's true.
Also, sir, like Hajra was very rightly mentioning, discipline has to be there. You were talking about it, but
Yes.
as far as the youth of the country is concerned, I'm talking about this country particularly because now we see that they're scattered, they're dispersed.
Yes.
They're not focused on something that has to be done. So many positive and so many talented minds are going to waste only because of one particular reason, that there is no focus. Only because of the reason that they don't have discipline, they don't know their do's and don'ts. How to basically channelize their energies, how to create that sort of awareness in the youth of our country so that perhaps they can contribute something good to the society.
I think as Allama puts it like, Khuda tujhe kisi tufan se aashina kar de. Till the time there is, somebody is not shaken, the inner thing doesn't wake up. And that is like in the very mechanics of humankind all. We have to, I am saying this with a scholar on my side, one was education. In Urdu we say taaleem. But the next thing is tarbiyat, the upbringing, the grooming. We have adhered to taaleem and education, but we have forgotten the grooming.
True.
That's true.
So the only thing that brings the youth to the focus is we have to have our attention on education as well as their grooming, including their spiritual grooming, bringing them what is the essence of this life. Now we in this life form are the choicest of creations with a lot of responsibilities entrusted upon us by Almighty Allah. So we have to make this real, the youth and the group of people who are at the peak of their lives, peak of their energies, where the energies are likely to be hijacked with the hormones in their blood, So we have to bring them to a place to, right in school, at home, in the society, wherever we can interact with them. Education coupled with the grooming, including the spiritual grooming. I think that is what I see should be the solution.
Right. So, Abdul Basit Saab, Sabahuddin Saab mentioned a very important point, and that was nagging me for quite some time, which is about this dichotomy between the religion and the secularism, or more in general, you would see that the dominant order or the liberal order would like to subsume the religion under the broader rubric of the secularism or the liberalism, right? So, and there is a dire need to modernize the Islam. So, how can we modernize Islam in the image of a prophetic tradition, not in the image of West?
In fact, challenge is versatile, so the response must be multifaceted.
Yes.
And in that way, you rightly mentioned that Islam has a very, what we could say, up-to-date institution, that is ijtihad.
Right.
If we are lacking that, that is why the modern mind or youth, they have no answers of some questions.
Right.
So we must produce in the light of Quran and Sunnah the answers of their queries.
Right.
This is one problem. And another problem, as Sabahuddin Saab was mentioning, that in our past, teachers, parents, they were mentors as well. But
Yes.
now they are not doing mentoring.
That's true.
See, a just teacher or
Right.
just a physical parent is something else, and mentor is something else.
Right.
And one thing more that you see, a Prophet, peace be upon him, rightly mentioned that seek knowledge from cradle to
Cradle to the
grave.
grave.
And another thing is that first university is mother's lap.
That's true.
So this, whatever is that how to behave, that one learn from his own cradle. So we have to focus on that cradle and then institutions.
Right.
And the thing is that just saying is not sufficient. Now in parenting, we are just saying things. In teaching institutions, in politics, in social organizations, our more focus is on just saying things. But Quran is saying, لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. Why you are saying the things which you are not doing?
Right.
You have to
So
practice them.
yes, yes.
Cognitive dissonance.
yes.
Yes.
Demonstrate.
This
How
is the
to do
problem, what we have to address properly in our society.
Right.
Definitely. Well, that was a lovely intellectual discourse that we had, and I must thank you both, Basit Saab and Sabahuddin Saab, for coming here and participating in such a lovely discussion that we had today. And with that, I'll come to the end of our first segment of the program, and we have to go for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We have more to come.
And welcome back. So we have some very interesting discussion lined up, and we have a wonderful guest in our studio, and I would like to take this liberty to introduce himself because he's a very he's a wonderful sort of a talent in him, and we are very glad that he has joined us. So he is not just a hip hop artist, he's also a producer. He's based in Islamabad, and he goes by the name of Pakistan, and he also has recently released a music video called Khwab. That's a very poetic and sort of a very intellectual sort of a video, but we would ask what it is in his video. And also, he's a journalist by profession and working as a team lead as a software engineering. So, wow, that is
Oh my God.
some cool set of qualities you can find in one person. So, we are very glad that we have been joined by Salman Durrani. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Wonderful.
So, Salman, first of all, before we start off with you, how was your Eid?
Oh, it was great. It's been great, and you know, it's one of the days I wake up happy. When you know it's Eid, you just wake up, open your eyes, and you're like, oh, it's Eid today, and you're happy. And I want to wake up happy every day.
That's
Hashtag me too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I feel like we should wake up happy every day, but
That's
sometimes we wake up and not happy because you know you think
Especially
of
on
the day.
Mondays.
Absolutely. Or if you work in the mornings, you know, because I work in the evening, so for me it's like, you know.
So,
Yeah.
Salman, perhaps we weren't able to exactly identify and elaborate on what you are, what you do. Could you tell us
Yeah,
about
absolutely. So, I am a journalist by education. I have a full-time job at a software house. I'm working as a lead for DevOps in cloud computing. You know, developers, they use all sorts of tools, so I'm working there. However, I'm a passionate musician. I like to make
Wonderful.
music. I like to write raps. Or I like to make beats, compose, produce,
Right.
record. I've put out, I think maybe 7 or 8 tracks by now, and a
Wonderful.
couple of music videos. So this is something I do not want to give up on.
Wonderful.
So I'm chasing my passion full time.
Lovely,
so
because many people, they just leave their passions just because
Absolutely.
they're doing a job.
Exactly, exactly. So what landed you into pursuing your passion besides being I mean, you're a journalist by education, then you
Yeah.
are working with a software company, I believe.
Yeah.
But then you have I mean, a passion towards chasing the music, which is your passion as you
Yeah, yeah,
define. So how did you landed up in three such different fields? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's just surviving, you know. As a human being, I have dreams and goals. And my number one dream is to fulfill my passion, that is music.
Right.
So in order to achieve that, nothing gets handed into your hands in a plate, right? So yeah, I'm just following my dreams, and for that I have to work, I have to pay my bills, I have to, you know, we're privileged enough coming from a military
So,
background.
practical approach,
Yeah,
basically. You're
definitely.
a pragmatic, practical
Yes,
person.
I can't be
Perfect.
like, Dad, give me $1 million, I need to go make music. Right? Can't do that. So
Right.
I'm just, yeah, working on my craft.
Why?
All right, so when did you come to realize that you're into rapping or perhaps not into traditional sort of singing?
Long time ago. Because my first instrument was an acoustic guitar. I bought a
Okay.
guitar. I wanted to be a pop singer, this and that. And then I just switched. I flipped. Because I kind of grew in and out of Pakistan.
Okay.
So I had seen the diversity of music, or I was like, okay, let's try something else. So I started writing. And you know, sometimes you want to write something for someone special, something like that. So it started like that.
Ah, I
And
see.
yeah. So it started like that, and then today I'm just writing every day almost now.
Okay, okay. So please tell us more about your music video, which is Khwab.
Yeah. So Khwab is a really dear track to me. It's all true. You know, artist people, they don't make up stories. So
That's true.
it's true, and it's a story about a guy who's basically dreaming.
Right.
However, he's being practical.
Okay.
He's thinking about all the things that he wanted to happen, but things that didn't happen. He's just contemplating all the things that he wanted to happen. Because the lyrics are, if you go to the track, the lyrics say "Khwab maine bhi dekhe," right? So that, like, he dreamt of things he couldn't get or see, but he wanted to express it. So it's basically about a guy and a girl.
And what is the name of the guy? Is the name start from the S and the second name starts from the D?
Which what
Are you talking about yourself, Salman
Of
Durrani?
course, definitely.
yes.
I wrote the song, I made the track, and yes. And one more thing I want
Yes.
to add there is my music name is basically our country's name. Well, it's Pakistan, right?
Okay.
My music name is Pakistan because if you ever go out of Pakistan and you tell a Gora, a foreigner, I'm from Pakistan, so the first thing they say is, are you from Pakistan? So,
Yeah.
you know, so I was like, I'm going to use that and use my name. So my music name is Pakistan, and also a huge Tupac influence in that. You know, if you're aware of rap music, you would know who Tupac Shakur was, right? So I added that Tupac Pac in Pakistan.
All right, so Salman, we'd love to hear something,
sure.
perhaps one of your tracks that you've
Sure.
made.
Do you want a
because,
happy vibe or do you want a deeper vibe?
A happy vibe. It's we're celebrating.
Yeah.
after,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. So, okay, let's give you a happy vibe. I have a track called Sophia.
Okay.
And it goes like Sophia. So
Do you write in English or Urdu?
I write in both. I'm gonna rap in English now.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
sure.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's been hard for me to rap in Urdu because I started rapping in English.
So sure, can you quickly jump
Yeah,
into
let's
the
go.
rap?
Let's
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
So it goes like, Last night I met a girl in my dreams, and it seems that I'm still kinda stuck in a dream. She's a queen, long hair, pretty eyes, hypnotized, standing in her face, oh I forgot to say hi. She passed by and she stopped for a sec. Got me so lost like a card from a deck. Third girl so fine, did you feel the vibe yet? Got me thinking all night, wanna know what's next then. Yeah, she say her name is Sophia. Ooh girl, but you look like Maria. बातें तेरी ऐसे प्यार भरी जैसे तू मेरी दुनिया में आने लगी अब. Oh, she say her name is Sophia. Ooh girl, but you look like Maria. बातें तेरी ऐसे प्यार भरी जैसे तू मेरी दुनिया में आने लगी अब.
Wow, wonderful. You want to continue?
No,
Is it
it's
finished?
okay. It's okay.
Well, you cut him off.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you just finished it off. I'm so sorry. Please continue. I would request you.
No, the next part is kind of Urdu, but if you want me to
okay.
write, it's okay.
It's okay,
So
yeah.
the next part goes, Mere saath to chal, mera haath pakad, get you fly on the spot on top of the world. Mere saath to chal, mera haath pakad, get you fly on the spot on top of the world. Then and then it repeats. She say her name is Sophia. Ooh girl, but you look like Maria. Baatein teri aise pyar bhari, jaise tu meri duniya mein aane lagi. Oh.
Oh,
That's
we'd
it.
love to hear it with music. Because
Yeah, for
that's-
sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
It's going to create more feel
Mhm.
of what you're actually, singing. Obviously, music does create a lot of
That's
feel.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
But we would also like to ask, who's Sophia?
Oh, you're not the first person to ask me that.
I'm
All
pretty
my
sure.
friends, everybody has asked me who's
Yes.
Sophia and who's they're imaginary people. Sophia is every girl out there who's pretty and she's just doing her thing. And Maria is the same. It's for all the girls out there, you know?
Okay.
Lovely.
Thank you so much, Salman, for
You're
coming to
welcome.
our show and
You're
for,
welcome.
having this wonderful rap. And we would like to wish you best of luck for your future endeavors,
you.
especially
Appreciate
in the music,
this.
because I feel Pakistan's music industry is really flourishing and it's booming. And you will see that how our songs are getting viral across the world, right? Like with Sururi and whatnot. So it's a really good time for our music industry, and we are really glad that a lot of younger people are coming up and contributing.
And besides
to our
Hajra, it's the whole world who's now recognizing that we have very good artists
Yes.
in Pakistan
Yes.
who can sing very well
Yes.
and who can touch the souls and hearts of many out there who don't
Yes.
even understand the language.
That's very
As
true.
they say, music has no language.
That's very true. So with that, we would like to wrap up our segment and say once again thank you to our esteemed guest for coming here. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Salman.
for having me.
And with that, we would say Allah Hafiz. Until next time, it's a goodbye and good morning.